I
Okay.
want my microphone to be on.
Okay. All right. So can you guys see my screen? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And I see Brian's over there as well. I got to work on my avatar skills like Brian has. That looks much better than me in person there. All right. So I'm using Laura's site here as kind of an example here. So first thing you guys want to do, you guys want to make sure obviously that you're logged in and that you go to the HQ section of your site. Uh, um, and before I even get started, I'm assuming everybody's starting from knowing why we're doing this, but let me give you guys a little bit of color here. Um, Sports Engine is making some changes in terms of how some things are done. Hopefully, it's going to be easier for most of us in terms of creating teams, in terms of building rosters, and eventually in terms of showing, kind of live information on your website. Um, we are in the uh, little bit past a beta stage, if you will, but I want to make sure that you guys understand this and we can get you guys to where you want to go. Ultimately, it's going to be much easier for everyone than the idea of the way teams were built. For those of you who've done it in years past, this is going to be a significantly simpler process. All right. So once you're in your Sports Engine HQ, you're going to want to go to the competition section here. And for all of you guys, you should now see something there that says season management. Okay. So when you click on season management, it's going to bring you to a screen that some of you may not have seen previously. So here on Laura's site, here on Forest Grove, we actually have created a season already. But for most of you, what you're going to do, your starting point is going to be to add a new season. Okay. And that's a very simple process. You click add a new season, and then you have this window that opens up here. Very basic information. Okay. You're going to give your season a name. You can call it 2023 football, 2023 fall, whatever you guys want to do or want to name it so that it is easily identifiable to you and your visitors to your site. You will have to select sport, although for most of you, the only sport that's going to be available for you to select is going to be football. Um, Give it a start date and an end date. Just for our purposes, we would like the start date to be June 1st and the end date to be 12/31. Now, I know that's longer than what your football season is, but we're just keeping you guys a little bit of the overflow just in case you have some, additional gains that need to happen. Um, you know, it's really benign if it has to go on a little bit longer than what your actual season is. Your time zone is going to default to what your local time zone is. All of you guys, that should be Pacific time. And then you just very simply just click add season. All right. Um, Once you click add season, let me do this. Give me 1 second. Once you click add season, you're now going to get to this screen. This screen is going to show you a couple of different things. Number one, it's going to show you the season details that you just entered in. If you need to make a change to that, if you spelled something wrong, you entered the wrong dates, just go right ahead and click edit, and you'll be able to edit those settings right there. Most importantly for all of you, okay, you're going to see this little option here that says connect. First things first, if you do not see that option, reach directly out to me. Okay. Let me know the name of your organization and just say, hey, I don't have the connect option. All right. And we'll make sure that you have it there. When you click connect, this window is going to pop open here. Yeah. Okay. When you click connect there, you're going to have this window that opens up. You're going to have the TVYFL option to share this season with, and then just select the 2023 fall football season, which is going to be the only season that should be there for you to select. Okay, once you do that and click save, most important part is done right now. Okay, this season is now going to be connected to the TVYFL. This is going to be the first step in allowing you guys to have schedules that are entered in on the TVYFL coming down to your website, going out to the mobile app for your teams. Okay. From there, what I always tell people, this right here, think of this almost as being a wizard. You're going left to right here. You're just going to go on, go from one screen to the next, to the next, to the next here. So after you've done your connection, go ahead and click on settings. Most of this stuff I will just leave at its standard settings here. These are if you want to keep standings on your site, which in most cases you're not going to because those standings are going to be kept up at TVYFL. You can make those settings here. If you are going to keep any type of statistics, you want to see that little Johnny rushed for 55 yards or something along those lines, you can edit these and choose which statistics you'd like to show. And you'd be able to keep those in and enter those in on a game-by-game basis if you'd like. Next screen, you're going to go to what we call your divisions page. These are divisions that you're going to set up specifically for your site. These are not the TVYFL divisions right now. So for most people, you guys are going to have probably two divisions, a tackle division and a flag division. Okay. You could have one division if you just want to call it football and put all of your teams in there. Okay. If you're not offering flag football, just put tackle. Okay. It's going to be specific to your organization, but you need to create at least one division that your teams reside in on your site. Creating a division, extremely simple. Okay. All of you guys will have this option to add divisions right here. Just enter the division name. If I want to call it tackle, I call it tackle. And notice that if I need to create multiple divisions, as soon as I started typing here, another spot opened up so I can just keep on typing for the next division, and I can add multiple divisions at one time. I don't need to create a division, go out of a screen, go back into it, create a new division. Okay, I can do it all at one time if I want to. For those of you who have created divisions in the past on Sports Engine, this should be a welcome break for you guys. Being able to do everything in one screen is going to make life a lot easier here. All right. So going on to the next screen, very simply, you have your teams page. This is going to be where you create your teams. Now, we've already created a couple of teams on this site, but I'm going to show you again how you add a team. All right. When you're going to add your teams, just click add a team. You're going to have two options that show up here. You guys are going to want to use the manual add of teams. Okay. Currently, the import of teams not working is the easiest way to say it. So manually add teams. And again, all of this stuff can be done on one screen. I can create the instance of all of my teams all at one time right through here. So for example, and Laura, just keep me honest here. TVYFL, you guys, when you create your teams, the naming convention that you guys want to have is going to be the name of your association, your age/playing level, and then if you have multiple teams, if there's a color associated with it, you want to include the color there as well. Okay.
And there's a template that was sent out previously. You have to use the template. If you screw up the naming, it'll screw me up when I'm making the schedule. Matter of fact, I'll just bounce your team back down and won't schedule it. So make sure it's right.
Okay. And I still, Brian, that's a little bit freaky watching that avatar speak. I'm sorry, but all right. So I'm just going to create I'm going to create a 5-6 team here. All right. So Forest Grove 5-6. Let's call it maroon, right? Okay. And now I can just put it in whatever division I need to that's been created on my site. Okay. So I'm just going to put it in the tackle division. And again, notice how as soon as I start typing, another box appears. So I could create, again, the instance of all of my teams all at one time. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and create another one here. Laura, as we discussed, I can remove these from your site. These are just dummy teams. All right. And because I'm a Jet fan, we're going to say they're green. Okay. I know not many people admit to being a Jet fan these days, but I'll take it. All right. Then I'm just going to go ahead and create. All right. As soon as that little wheel stops, I'll now have two teams that I've created. You see the Forest Grove 5-6 green and Forest Grove 5-6 maroon. Those are the two teams that I just created. Okay. At this point, very simply, you can connect your team, send your teams to the TVYFL. TVYFL is going to need these teams to be sent to them as soon as they're created so they can be used for scheduling. Okay. Even if you do not have a roster entered in, and I will talk to you about that later, you can send your team directly to TVYFL so they at least know that you have, 1-5-6 team, 2-5-6 teams, however many teams, so they can start scheduling. This process is extremely simple, okay? I'm just going to do the 5-6 green team. You click on the 5-6 green team name, and you're going to see this little window that pops up here, Tualatin Valley Youth Football League right here, and I can go ahead and click Share Team. Okay, once I share the team, I have my Forest Grove 5-6 green. Now, this is where you are going to select the age division that the team belongs into at TVYFL. Drop down window right here. I know that this is a 5-6 senior tackle team. Boom. Just select that. I will click next. You do not have a roster in here as of right now, so I'll just click next. And then I am just going to click finish. Okay. These will come into play once you have rosters associated with your team. Okay. Once you have rosters associated with your team, for example, your coaches and your staff, when you send them up to TVYFL, it's going to ask you to verify what their position is on the team. So you're going to want to make sure that your head coach is listed as a head coach, that your assistant coaches are listed as assistant coaches. If you have a safety coach, you list them as a safety coach. All right. And now I'm just going to click finish. And you guys should, number one, it should give you a message that just went off the screen that says it was shared. And you'll see this little option here that says automatically approved. Okay. When I close this window, you'll see that this now has an affiliation status here. It'll say needs attention because we don't have any players associated with it as of yet. That's okay. That means it was sent up to TVYFL and they have it there. I'm going to pause there for a quick second because I hate hearing myself speak. Are there anything that immediately jumps out at anyone for questions right now?
Yeah, I do have a quick question. Sorry.
once I didn't catch the part, like once the roster is created, are you going to go over that now? Like where
Yep,
we'll find that and where that'll be
that's
like, okay.
that's the
I
next
was like,
step
you were
there.
saying if there's a roster. So I was like,
Yep.
oh no, I missed that part. And then I don't know if you already said this or if you're going to tell us at the end, when is this going to be out of beta and available for us to actually use and create and share our teams?
It's available on everybody's website right now. Okay.
Okay.
It
I
should be
started going
available.
through it, but I didn't know if I was allowed to actually do it yet. So I
Yep.
didn't start. I just
Yeah.
kind of
This
followed.
is available on everybody's system right now. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. I did notice a couple of questions like from the chat there. Sarah, you asked how will the teams from last year be deleted? I'll walk you through that in a second there. Okay. And Tammy, how do you get to season management? Covered that at the first thing. When you log into your system's HQ, off to the left-hand menu, go to competition, and you should have an option there for season management. Okay. And again, if you guys do not have these options there, please immediately reach out to me and I will work with my team to make sure that it gets done there. All right. I did see somebody else did raise their hand. Debbie, that you?
Yeah, hi. So we run our flag in-house.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that we don't set it up through here, or we do and just not associate it.
Bingo, the last part. Okay.
Okay.
You can set up your teams the same way you would your TVYFL teams. Just don't send the teams up to TVYFL.
Got it.
Okay. And it
thank
looks
you.
like we got one more. Shannon?
Hey, I was following along, doing all the things just perfectly. And then I got to the point where you said, how do you share it with TVYFL? So I have all my teams in on the teams page or the teams flag. What do I click on to then share
Just
it?
click on, if you have the teams in already, click on the team name.
Click on the team name.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Okay, thanks.
All
Sorry,
right.
I missed it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. And it looks like we do have one more question from a well, that's not even a telephone number.
It's from Liberty.
Oh, okay. Hi, Liberty.
Sorry. I just had a quick question with the divisions. I know you said tackle and flag. Is rookie tackle considered separate, or is it just tackle?
Honestly, when you set up the divisions on, these are divisions that are on your site. Okay. So you could set up a division that just says football and put all of your teams in there if you really want to. Okay. That's completely up to you. If you want to create a separate division for rookie tackle, you can do that. What I just suggest doing, all of your tackle teams put in the same division, even if it is rookie tackle, it's still tackle, throw them in the same division. All of your flag teams, if you're hosting flag, throw those in the same division. That's just my suggestion there. All right. Did that work?
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So going on to the next thing. After you've created teams, after you've submitted your rosters, okay, now comes the fun part of rostering players. For those of you who have done this in the past, this is going to look very, very similar to what you've done in the past. Okay. Rostering players is a simple drag and drop method. Okay. It's just going to change in terms of look a little bit more than a little bit different than what it was last year. Just going to expand my window here a little bit. Okay. So what you're going to do, if you want, when you go, or I should say, when you start off on the rostering page, all of the people on this side, those are coming from your member directory. This literally lists everybody in their member directory. Okay, so I've got 930 people here from Forest Grove that can be added here. Some of them may be dads, some of them may be coaches, some of them may be just wrong people. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing we want to do is make sure we're assigning the right people. So we're assigning players, or are we assigning staff? For our purposes, I'm just going to say we're assigning players. And Laura, don't worry, I'm not actually going to assign any of your players. What you can do from there is we can now use some of our filter options to narrow down that 930 people to a smaller pool of people we want to select from. So now I'm going to say I want everybody who registered in the 2023 player registration. All right. So I click that. Now notice that 931 people went down to 67 people. Okay. There's 67 people who are registered there. If I want to, I can filter that down even further by clicking on this little filter icon right here. Okay. I could filter by birth date. I could filter by gender, or I can go to what we call advanced filters, which is just simply going down here, clicking add a filter. I'm going to reselect the registration again. And now I can select any of the fields that were in registration. Okay. All of you guys had the same registration. That's the beautiful part of what TVYFL did. So what I suggest doing is from this information field, I can just simply scroll down to registration options and the division. Now I can narrow this down to people who selected, say, for example, third, fourth rookie tackle. Okay, click apply. And now this got filtered even further. Now I only got 21 people here, right? Now I can very easily just say, hey, this guy Joshua and this guy Benjamin and this guy Karsten and Jackson. I'm going to take them, select the box that's to the left of their name, and just drag and drop them and place them over the appropriate team that they should be on. Okay? I can do that either individually, or for some of you who are only going to have one team in 3-4, I can just select all and now move everybody over. The other thing I can do right from here, same thing with staff. If I want to select staff, now I can go ahead and say I want to select staff rather than the player registration. Maybe I want to go to the coach's registration, or I want to go to the staff registration. And now I can still do those filtering tools appropriately and just move them over however they should be. All right. Once you've taken people and you've assigned them over to teams, as you create your rosters, as your registration closes and you start building out the actual rosters of your team, at some point you are going to need to resubmit your teams now that they have players on it. And it's, again, the very same process. Clicking on the team name, going to share the team, okay, and just going through the process again. Okay, if you did already submit the team, it's just going to default to whatever you previously submitted, and then you can just go through the process. It will prompt for your team staff and your team coaches to make sure that you have given them the appropriate position. Again, you're identifying your safety, safety coach, you're identifying your head coach, you're identifying your assistant coach. I'm going to pause. Open it up for some questions here again.
Really quick. So, one thing. So, if you do make any changes at all,
yep,
at any point, you have to reshare it.
Right. So,
if you put your roster on, put your coaches on, but need to switch somebody around, you have to resubmit it.
And that's a very good point, Laura. Thank you for reminding me of that. If you add someone, you take a player off, you add a player on, then yes, you will need to resubmit it again. Okay. I see one question that came up there, and Heather, great question about can you wait until all changes are made to share? You will need to share it initially, just the instance of the team, once you've created the team. Okay. So in theory, everybody on this call, if you guys know that you're going to have 2, 3, 4 teams and 1, 5, 6 team and 1, 7, 8 team, go ahead and create those or share those tonight. Okay. Don't need to have the roster on it again. If you want to wait until you've made all of your roster changes and submit it at the last minute, hey Brian, if Brian doesn't have a problem with that, I don't have a problem with that. Okay. But you do need to at least submit the instance of your team in order for them to create a schedule for you.
Yeah, the main thing will be, and I'll be sending out reminders on Sunday night for next week, and then I scheduled a call next week, Wednesday, if anybody's having questions or concerns about how to fill out the template. The template has to be submitted because I use that to generate the divisions. The teams have to be created in Sports Engine because we will export those directly into Diamond Scheduler. And again, the naming, I can't emphasize this enough. So follow the template for the name creation. So example, right now I'm looking at the screen. The naming convention's wrong for the 3-4 teams on here. It's 3-4 rookie tackle or RT. But anyway, I know this is just for display purposes. So
sorry, Brian. You don't have to kick
it's fine.
kick my team
I just
down.
didn't want people to read this and they're like entering teams free form, right?
Yeah,
Randy did it.
And I will say this: if you do need to change your team, okay, see these little 3 dots right here? Go ahead and edit your team. Change it to RT, okay?
And the template is set up that once you enter your association, the level of play, and the color, you can copy the name of the team and then paste it. So
okay. So one point that I want to make here, okay, a couple of things. When you create a team initially, we have some team statuses that are here, okay? These team statuses are going to be how your team is viewed in the mobile app. So if you're putting together teams and you don't want people to be able to, you don't want those players, and probably more importantly, you don't want the parents to access those teams as of yet, okay? By default, all of the teams are set to inactive when they're originally created. So you guys can go ahead and do all of your work, okay? You can create the instance of the team, you can add rosters, you can play around with what kid is on what roster. And then the second that you want parents to be able to find that team, you can either A, do it individually by clicking on those 3 dots, and you notice you have, public, inactive, and private, some options there. Or, and this is something that I'm excited for because in years past, again, you weren't able to do this in bulk. When you're ready for your teams to be shown, if you want all of your teams to be set to public, I can just select all, come over to the 3 dots up at the top, and now I can set the status of it one way or another. All right. All right. I see there is a question in the chat. I'm gonna let Brian answer that one. Talking about the
you
team
need to
naming
use the
convention.
template. Use the template.
Okay.
Also, the naming convention is in the league operations guide. I'll place it in here as well.
All right. So one other thing that has been a big change from what it was in years past. Okay. In years past, you had to go to the front end of your website and do a lot of creation of divisions and teams to get teams to show. A lot of people screwed that up from going from one season to the next. Okay. Here's what I'm going to suggest for all of you. Okay. This is going to be a little bit different. Okay. First off, you guys need to make a decision about whether you want to show to the public on your site your team schedules, your team information. Okay. I say you guys are going to want to make that decision because there are a lot of programs who'll say, hey, I don't want to show where my teams are playing for privacy reasons. Okay. Your team members can still find the information in the app. Completely up to them whether completely up to you and your organization whether you want to show information to the public there. If you do make that decision that you do want to, very simple process here. Okay. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to the settings section. Okay. Before you share, you're going to want to make sure you click this button that says publish latest changes. Okay. The way that this is going to show up on the front end of your site is what we call internally as a microsite. Okay. This is just going to be an embedded template that's going to show your teams, their schedules, where the games are being played. Okay. So you can simply come in here. You'll see season site URL. You can just simply grab or click on that and then click embed. This is going to show you a very simple little window of code right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that code. And now I'm just going to go to the front end of my website. Okay. Now, for most of you, what I would suggest doing is first things first, just create a page. You can create a page at the top of your website called Teams. I've already done that here. For those of you who need a refresher on that, you very simply put yourself into edit mode. You click Pages. You go to Main Menu, which is what's along the top here, and you click Add a New Page. Okay. You can create a general page, and then you can type in, you can call it Teams, you can call it football teams, you can call it whatever you'd like to. Okay. Just create teams there. I'm not going to go ahead and do this because I've already done this on this page here. Okay. So go ahead and create teams. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to add a page element. Okay. There's going to be a page element that says code. All of you guys have this here. You click there, just type into that code box and paste in that little snippet of code that you had before. And once you have that in there, now this is what you're going to see. When you're in edit mode, you're going to actually see the line of code. When you're not in edit mode, you're going to see this little find everything one-stop shop for your website. Okay. Your members are going to come in. They're going to click. If they leave it on all divisions, it's just going to show everything that's going on, all of your teams and what games they have this week. But if I'm grandma and I want to see what little Johnny's playing, I can come in, go to tackle, select the tackle team, and then it'll show me starting with today's date. Now, obviously, we are in August. Nobody's playing football in August, but it'll show me specifically the games that are there for August. Again, this is for public view. Okay. I could do that for any of my teams and see whatever they have there. If I have statistics enabled, I can just go to statistics as well, and I can do the same thing. I can go to tackle, I can go to select my team, then I can even go narrow it down even further. If I want to look at a particular group of stats, I can do that. Now, I will say this is going to be the part that's probably more difficult than creating your teams and submitting your teams. Okay. If there are questions about doing this, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to help in any way I can, especially with the front end of your website. Now, there was a question earlier about how do you kind of archive or hide, delete your old teams. Okay. Most of you already have a section that's either titled teams or, some of you call it 2022 football or what have you. Wherever you had your previous season's teams, you could just simply go to that page. I'll just find a page here. I'm just going to use any old page. Okay. You can go to that page. Again, make sure you're in edit mode. You can just go to the permissions on it and you can just make it disabled. Okay. Making it disabled means you will still have access to it as an admin, just in case you need to see like last year's results or the year before's results. If you want to do that, you'll still have access to it. But the general public will not see it at all. Again, questions. I do see. Well, those are a couple of quick hands that went up there. Or are those hands that were up previously? Megan?
Yeah, so a couple of questions. One, can you confirm to make sure I understand correctly, for sharing of the public site here, is the default already that it is hidden, or do we have to go in?
Yeah, so for sharing of the public site, nothing shows to the public unless you put that little snippet of code on one of your pages.
Excellent. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
And then my question I had earlier was with regard to the August 11th date for when the teams need to be shared. Does that mean that it's the naming conventions under each division needs to be shared, or does the actual slotting of the rostering per team need to be finalized by that date?
Rosters aren't due until your book verification. We just need the teams.
Okay,
and,
the name of the teams
template.
Got it. Okay,
And
excellent.
the template itself has to be completed. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. See a couple of other names there. Shannon, was that you from previously with your hand
No, I have
raised?
all these. Hey, sorry. So,
Okay.
the code that you embedded to create the team that basically
Mhm.
mirrors the back end of Sports Engine, you picked that up from the teams portion, correct? For the
Yeah.
season that we created, you right clicked and you embed that code that says like embed code, not
Yep.
the URL. When I click on the back end of my website on Teams and click add new page, you use general page, correct? Did you create a general page for the new
Created
team?
a general page. Do not create a new team page. Just a general
Mhm.
page. Okay. And then once you create a general page, you're going to add a page element, which is the code element.
Oh, after you create the page.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
And Sarah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if a president and a registrar are both working on this. So maybe, for example, I'm creating the teams, but she's doing the rostering information. Will we see each other's changes that have been created?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So keep in mind, this is not like you're working in a silo here. You guys are all working on the same system. All right. Any other questions there? Okay. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Okay. Does this look really, really hard for you guys? Do you think this is going to be something you guys are going to struggle with? Or especially for those people who have done this in the past? Does this look a little bit easier than what it was in the past?
I think as long as we can see the video, the
Yep.
recording of this, I will be okay because I'm trying to
Yep.
take as much notes as I can, but seeing the video on
Yeah.
repeat is what I'm going to
Yep.
lean on. Where
So-
will this be saved? Where can we access it?
So I have a video link that I'm going to share to Laura. Laura, you should have that by tomorrow morning. Okay. Sorry, you guys get to hear my voice again through this little instructional video. That's going to walk you through the creating of the teams. Okay. That part, I'm actually broke it into 2 videos. There's going to be the creating of the teams, and then there's going to be sharing the microsite live to the public if you guys want to place that. So there's going to be 2 separate videos. I will send a link to Laura on that. Laura, you can share that with everybody, or you can place it. You can let them know where it's going to be.
Yeah, so this is going to go out to all registrars, what we did tonight. And then we'll put the link to Randy's video probably in the training, the TVYFL trainings, and we'll send it out too.
Yeah. I'm gonna just throw something else out there to you guys too. This section right here, the need help option. Now you're going to have video.
Oh, he's been having bad weather, so he cuts out.
Can you hear me? I'll keep on talking until you guys can hear me.
We can hear you again.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Struggles of living in monsoon Arizona right now. So right now, if you guys click the need help options, we've got some pretty cool tools here under walkthrough, where if you type in season, or if you just go to season management, there are a couple of different things that it can actually walk you through right on the screen there. So personally, I think that's a pretty cool options for you there. For those of you who are more readers than video guys, you can go to resources. Again, you can go to, if I'm not scrolling here, you can go to season setup, and it'll walk you through, provide some documentation for some things that you have there. Okay. Again, if either A, you don't have the season management options there, or B, you're not seeing connections to where you're to TVYFL, please let me know. Okay. The other thing I'm going to ask from you guys, and this is where Sports Engine's going to ask something from you. All right. I've explained this to Brian several times. This is a new product. Okay. As it is a new product, we may have a few bumps in the road. Okay. I'm going to ask you guys that if you do see something, let me know as soon as possible. Or if you happen to notice something while you're in here, got this lovely little feedback section right here. Okay. This feedback section will allow you to go ahead and click here. You can rate it. You can give it 1 star. You can give it 5 stars. I ask you to be honest. Don't just click 5 stars and go away. But it will give you an option to provide feedback. Okay. That feedback does not go into a dark hole. That feedback is actually read. Every single one of the feedback items is read by our product manager, who is on top of all of this stuff. So please let us know your opinion. If there's something that's that's not working correctly, let us know. Okay. Looks like we do have a couple more questions here. Is it Phil?
Yeah, can you hear
Hey,
me?
Phil. Yep. I got you.
Awesome. I only have one question. I just tapped the button like a psycho. So I spend a good amount of time. I'm the president. I'm not the registrar. So I'm just trying to get an understanding of what's going on here. When I log in and I tap the menu and I tap season management, I get access denied. So I don't know if that's normal because I'm also a coach. I know I can see a lot of information about my team, but I can't
Right.
see the other teams.
It's
So,
I would suspect it's probably a permissions issue. Okay. Are you a new president to the league?
yep, I am.
Okay. And have you done much in the back end of Sports Engine?
No.
Okay. So what I would do is a couple of different things. Okay. Number one, reach out to your registrar or reach out to whoever does most of the work in the back end of your website. They should be able to add you as an administrator to the system.
Okay.
Okay. If they either don't know how to add you as an administrator or they would just rather.
Got it.
Okay, so it looks like he cut out again. So yeah, that's what you would do is just reach out to your registrar and go into your settings, like in your profile, and just give you access to everything.
Okay. Am I back yet? You guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. Shannon, did you have an additional question or was that your hand being raised from before? Looks like it's not there anymore, so I'm assuming that's a no. Sarah, additional question?
Sorry, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I will post my information in the chat. Actually, Brian's done that already. Brian, thank you very much for being much faster than I am. And as I said, feel free if you guys have questions, use me as a resource there. There's a link to my calendar that's right in there as well. All of you guys should probably be familiar with this because all of you guys did this for your registrations. But if you have any questions, let me know. If there's nothing else that you guys need from me, I'm going to shut up and take myself off of camera.
Yeah, I don't think so. Thank you so much
Okay.
for joining us this
So,
evening. I appreciate it.
One thing I saw with Chuck a few days ago that I
Mhm.
was actually impressed with. Everyone should note that we have settings maintained on the league side based on age ranges, birth dates, etc. So if you publish a team and a member on that team does not fit that criteria, you're going to get an error message. So
Yep.
This is the beginning of being able to electronically do some book verification within Sports Engine. So if you have a fifth grader accidentally on a 3-4 team, you won't be able to push that team up till you fix it.
Yep.
As an example.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. That's actually a good point, Brian. Thank you for pointing that out there. Also, one other thing that I will note while I am on here, for those of you who have coaches that need to complete their background screens, they are getting reminders every single week letting them know that they need to complete their background screens or their staff needs to complete background screens and abuse prevention training. If they are ineligible or do not have something completed within their system, when they go to submit their team, you'll get an error there as well. Okay. You'll be able to submit the team, but it'll let you know, hey, this guy is, there's an issue there. All right. It looks like Ari had one last question. Ari, you get the last question before I get to get myself off a camera and pour myself a drink. So you get the last one there. Ari? Ari?
Maybe not.
Okay, Ari, you might be on mute. I'm not sure if you are or not. Okay, Ari, if you
mic isn't working. I
yeah,
don't know, Ari, if you want to type your question
yeah,
in here.
if you want to type the question in, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes before and address it right from there. If it's something for the group, if not, Ari, feel free to schedule a time with me if you want to go from there. I had a coach register today whose eligibility isn't showing up. Ari, if you could send me the specifics on that, I can take a look at that. Just go ahead and email me and I'll send a specific with the specifics on that and I can take a look. All right.
Hey, one question. I'll send it, Laura. I'll send you an email. Is there a video that shows us how to do the code, so that coaches can have us pay for their stuff, their training?
What do you mean for the USA football?
Yeah, I thought there was I saw something somewhere. It said if you develop a code, then they can enter the code, and then it just has us pay for, rather than them paying it and us reimbursing them.
Our association bought codes.
So
So you would-
there's a couple of ways to go about this. Generally speaking, what you're asking for, you need to reach out to USA Football and have them set up a code for you that will then invoice you for the cost of them doing that training. I'll put Kyle's contact info, which is in the league operations guide, into the chat here.
Thank you.
Okay. And looks like there's one more hand up. Is that for me, Sarah, or is that for?
Just kind of a question relating to any presidents. I'm wondering if they're experiencing the same situation. For Huddle, I reached out to Christian, who's our contact, and had a few questions for him regarding some invoices and have not heard back. Has anyone else had better luck getting in contact with
I
him?
communicated out that he is not your account rep for Huddle. I've just put Nick's contact info in here.
Okay.
And sadly, I've been after Nick as well. He was out on vacation last week because I'm getting your invoices and the league is not paying them. So.
Yeah, I had an email forwarded to me today with Nick's information, so I did reach out to him, but it was not knowing who the correct person actually was.
Yeah, I didn't know Christian moved up and Nick took his place until I reached out a few months ago. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody have any more questions for Randy?
I do see that there's one question from Jennifer. Okay. Guys, if you have specific questions regarding background screening or for coaches, email me directly. Make sure that you include the name of your organization. Okay. And when I say the name of your organization, please do not use initials. Because I deal with a bunch of like SYF programs, right? So give me the name of your organization and let me know the information about the coach, the name of the coach, their email address, so that way we can efficiently figure it out and see what's going on there. All right. Very good. Any other questions for me? Feel free to take
actually, I do have.
Okay, who's that?
You had said something in regards to deleting your teams. So if I'm on the main page of my website and I go to teams and I select tackle, rookie tackle, or flag football, it shows up coach, like the teams. But then the flag football, it shows a bunch of coaches' names for all the previous seasons. How do I delete that? Because it gives like an entire list of like 12 names.
Okay, so this was, which organization was this? I can show you really quickly.
This is Oregon City. Oregon City.
Oregon City. You guys are OCYF or something like that, right? What's your domain?
OregonCityYouthFootball.com.
You're gonna really make me type all of that out, aren't you? There we go. All right. All right. So first off, sign in here. We can do that. I'll do this just so you guys can all see this because I'm sure some of you may have the exact same thing. All right. Put yourself in edit mode. Number one. And I'm assuming what you're talking about is this area here, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what I would do, just go ahead and click on Teams. All right. You can either go to permissions. Just go ahead and disable all of those. Okay. Disabling the top page disables everything underneath it. Okay. So now you can see this, but nobody else can. Okay. What you can
Okay.
even do is, if you want, I can go to options. And now, since nobody cares about this, because this is all old information, this is stale information, I can just take that, click move page, and just actually okay, go to move page, and I can just place that, for example, you have a little page here that says admin. I'm just going to take that and place it under admin. So nobody else is going to see that. Now you're going to see it disappear from the top. It's now going to be underneath this section here. And now you can start from scratch. Okay. You start from scratch by doing exactly what I mentioned before. Go ahead and
Perfect.
go into pages, main menu. You can add a new page, general page, call it teams, move it up on the menu so it's, right after your home section if you want. And now it's there. All right.
All right.
And you guys actually got to see something that we are working on, which is not available yet. So I don't even think I want to show it to you. Maybe I'll give you guys a little sneak peek here. Okay. We're actually giving you the ability at some point to be able to just create this page without having to copy a code and place it in. This is going to be something probably for next year for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys get to stay there.
And I do want to reemphasize what Randy said. This is a beta, right?
Yep.
So there will likely be bugs, guys, and we understand that as a league, but bringing out the functionality was of paramount importance to us. So just remember that if you run into something, it's not a fully released product yet.
Yep. Yeah. For what it's worth, you guys are number 2. Okay, using this. So you guys, I like to think of it glass half full, where you guys are on the cutting edge. So, and that's thanks to Brian there. So appreciate it, guys. Nikki, is that a question about background screens?
I'm not understanding the question either, because she was asking specifically about 3 coaches that they haven't signed up in Sports Engine yet, which, guys, if you have coaches that haven't started their registration in Sports Engine, I can pretty much guarantee they're not coaching on Monday, right? You're competing with thousands of high schools, youth programs across the nation trying to get background checks done now.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let them on the team. That is a liability and a lawsuit waiting to happen if you put them out there before this stuff is done. I can't emphasize that enough. And I know somebody's going to do it anyway. When I was running Hillsboro, I stood out there. Coach showed up. I just sent him to the computer room. Well, go do your stuff. You're not going on the field. So,
yeah. And just one note about the background screens as well. Keep in mind the background screens that are run through Sports Engine. Number one, they're extremely thorough. Okay. There are many cases where we can do a lot of things electronically, but if you have a coach that lived in a previous county that, isn't really up to speed, there may have to actually be a physical person going to the county to get information there. Okay. So some of the things that you see, most background screens, they're completed. Usually they're completed within, 3 to 5 business days. Some of them even faster than that. Okay. But there are certain cases where it may take a little bit longer. And if you're trying to get somebody out on the field on Monday, like Brian said, yeah, chances are if you haven't done it now, they're not going to be out on the field. So if they're waiting, make sure they do it ASAP. All right, guys. Actually, it looks like there's one last question. You guys aren't ever gonna let me leave, are you?
I'm so sorry.
I'll take care of it there. Once a team is rostered and saved.
This is regarding the background checks. So our registrar was given information that a person, there was an issue with their background check, but the company said that she wasn't privy to knowing what the issue was and that it would go to the administrator, meaning probably myself as the president, but I have not received information on that person, and I'm not sure how to reach out about getting that permission before the season starts.
Okay, if it is specific information where the person was flagged, okay, then the TVYFL, Laura.
Just set a timer on my phone right now.
Yeah,
You will
that's a
have
me
that
that's a me
information.
question. You can go ahead and
Okay.
email me.
Okay, thanks,
All right.
Laura.
It
Yeah.
looks like there was one last question from Lincoln Youth Football.
Yeah, it's okay, me too. Did you get another athlete's contract?
Okay. Ari, can you guys go ahead and mute if you're not on there?
Weird thing happened yesterday.
Okay. Once a team is rostered and saved, I assume they are showing up in the app and admins can add schedules, etc. Okay. Once the team has been set to public, okay, remember when I showed you that the teams are, when you first create them, they're set to inactive. Once a team is set to public, they can now be found in the mobile app. Okay. Once they're in the mobile app, the coach can add practices or can add other events. What the coach will not be able to do, nor will any of you, is that once a schedule is created up at TVYFL, you guys will not be able to change that scheduled game. Okay. Brian, you can talk about if there's something that needs to be changed for a game that's been scheduled. I'm assuming you guys have a process for that. That's probably in a manual somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the league operations guide.
There we go. Okay. But what your coaches and what you guys will be able to do is add practices. Okay. Practice schedules specifically. All right. Last time. Anybody else have any other questions? Take yourself off of mute if you do. Okay, speak now, forever hold your peace, or reach out to me personally.
Hang on a second. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. I thank all of you very, very much. I appreciate you guys having me. If you do have any other questions, as I said, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Okay. Want to be a resource for you guys. Want to help you make sure that you guys aren't struggling through this if there are questions. All right.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, guys.
And if anybody has any other questions, you can go ahead and email me. You can call me. I think I put my number in the last chat. You can text me, whatever. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.